Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Wednesday Wisdom on the Educational AD Podcast. Before we meet today's guest, we do want to give a shout out to our partners, Vital Signs Wall of Fame, the global community of women in high school sports, We Coach, and the Florida Coaches Coalition. These are four great organizations. You should really add them to your network. And now, hey, don't hit that fast forward button so fast. Take 3 minutes and listen to our podcast sponsorship messages. These are all companies that I used as an athletic director or as a coach. You should be using them too. Here we go. We want to say thanks to Home Campus for their support of the podcast. Home Campus, as you know, is the exclusive high school state association management platform for us. It's also your one-stop platform for scheduling, student athlete eligibility and clearance, coaches clearance, and a lot more. As an athletic director, I used Home Campus every single day, and it was just great. And it'll be great for you too. To find out more, all you have to do is go to homecampus.com. That's homecampus.com. We also want to say thank you to Gipper. Go to gipper.com. Start creating world-class marketing content for your school's social media channel. You can do it in seconds, and it's so easy. Even I can do it. Your kids are on social media these days, and if you're not posting, you're really missing out on a great opportunity to celebrate your teams, promote your athletes and your program, and you can do it all very easily at Gipper.com. It's trusted by over 3,000 athletic programs, both high school and college across the country. It's professional graphics made simple. Go to Gipper.com to get started. We also want to say thanks to Huddle. Go to Huddle.com and change the way you see the game. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years, and it was just great. But when I became an athletic director, I made sure that our school was a Huddle school, and our coaches just loved the tools that Huddle provided that helped them coach our kids up to their highest level. At Huddle, we believe in sports, and teams believe in Huddle. Join the 8 million users and turn your school into a Huddle school. We also want to thank Vital Signs Wall of Fame. Go to their website, vitalsignswalloffame.com, and check out their interactive touchscreen video consoles. It's a great way to display your school record boards, your school's Hall of Fame, or just tell more compelling stories that will showcase your school's diverse history, your proudest moments, and your top role models. Go to vitalsignswalloffame.com. Get connected today. vitalsignswalloffame.com. We also want to say thanks to Snap Mobile. Go to snapraise.com. Check out their entire suite of platforms designed to help you do your job better. If you're looking for a fundraising platform, stop right there. Snap Raise is hands down the best, but there's so much more. There's Snap Manage, Snap Store, Snap Connect, and like I said, a whole lot more. You'll find it all at snapraise.com. We also want to say thanks to Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com and schedule a live web demo and see their tables and their boards in action. Probably one of the best purchases I ever made was our Sideline Interactive indoor score table. Of course, we use it for home games, but we also use it for pep rallies, for signing ceremonies. Their products are tremendously versatile, and their customer service is just outstanding. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. Schedule that live web demo today. That's sidelineinteractive.com. We want to say thanks to Hometown Ticketing, the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. Go to hometownticketing.com. They're going to show you how to set up and sell tickets online, but they're also going to provide you with a dedicated client success manager to give you hands-on support every step of the way. And online ticketing is not just for your athletic events. You can sell tickets online for things like school plays, dances, concerts, even graduation. You'll find it all at hometownticketing.com. Digital ticketing that offers more. And we want to say thanks to Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. Athletic surveys are a quick, easy, and an affordable way for you to collect comprehensive data that allows you to evaluate and improve your entire program. Athletic directors already hear from the complainers, the 2% that want to gripe about everything. Athletic surveys will connect you with the 2%, but they'll also connect you with the 98% that love and support your program. And that's a tremendously valuable tool to have when you're talking with that frustrated parent or your principal or your school board. Go to athleticsurveys.com, create that custom survey that'll let you take the pulse of your parents and your student athletes. That's athleticsurveys.com. Welcome back, everyone, to another segment of Wednesday Wisdom on the Educational AD Podcast. We've got one of our regulars, Amy Elliott. She's a certified master athletic administrator. She's the director of athletics at Kentucky Country Day School. Obviously, that's in Kentucky. Very active at the state and the national level. Just does a great job with our programs. And this is her 4th appearance on Wednesday Wisdom. So obviously she's got a lot of wisdom to share. So we're recording this episode for our listeners. Want to make sure on August 2nd. So it's going to be very timely when you're listening to it. So Amy, welcome back. And what do you have for our listeners on Wednesday Wisdom?
Well, thanks again, Jake, for having me. I appreciate it. So I want to talk a little bit today about parent expectations and what I kind of inherited and what I want to change and do differently and make sure I'm reinforcing. The long and short is, pre-COVID, our school and my athletic director who I worked for, we used to host fall meetings where we would have the parents come and the kids come, the coaches come. The athletic director would say a piece and then they break up into groups and then the coaches would say something. And it worked well for a while. And then the attendance started dwindling, I think, as they kind of, if the kids were, had already played before, they had another kid on the team that they just didn't feel like it was vital enough for them to come. And it got to the point where it was useless in the sense of there was not enough parental involvement and even the kids coming to make it worthwhile. So those were kind of dying, and then COVID hit. And so then we pretty much just stopped having big meetings and gatherings, having all parents for a certain season and whatnot. And so the last 3 years, my 3rd year going into being the athletic director at KCD, and I think people have seen it all over, some of the parental behavior for not only my parents, but obviously other schools as well, is just not acceptable. And especially with the shortage of referees for every sport, it's something that they need to be made much more aware of. They're always quick to blame and point fingers, but of course, none of them want to put on a whistle, which I understand as well. Is I don't know if I'd want to do that, but especially if people are treating them now, that it's not right. So I was just kind of contemplating over the summer when I had a little more time, what can I do better as an athletic director to provide expectations for my parents, besides just, it's on our website, of course, but it's like, okay, how many people actually read that? Do they even know it's there? So I've created a slideshow with all my parent expectations that I'm going to host virtually in probably about 2 weeks or so. Our school starts next Thursday, so I want to give everybody a little time to settle in. Not too much though, just because our fall sports have already started, but just everybody getting back in town. I'll probably do it on an evening, whether it's during the week or maybe even like a Sunday, just for more people being home. And I'm hoping that the virtual aspect will attract a lot more parents and kids to show up. It's primarily going to be all for the parents. So I'm fine if the kids don't. I'm going to ask them to come just so they know what to tell their mom and dad not to do when they're in the stands screaming at them or whatever. But it's primarily just going to be for the parents. And I've created a Google form at the end of the slideshow for parents to sign on and say like, hey, I've listened to the presentation. I understand the expectations. Being at this event is a privilege. It's not a right. And if I don't behave appropriately, I will just be asked to leave. Because I've been upset with some of the way our parents have behaving. And I feel like that's part of my job is being able to manage that and putting expectations ahead of time, being able to go back and say, hey, we documented this, we had this, or you signed this form that said you were and agree with this. It just gives you a lot more, backing when you need to make some tougher decisions.
Yeah, boy, I can really relate to that. You and I, from similar schools here, private independent schools. And you're absolutely right about the parent behavior something changed after COVID. And even going back to your point about the parent meetings, you hear the same comments that I would hear. Oh, do we have to listen to the, back to school thing again? Well, it might be your second or third time. This is our 15th or
Yeah.
20th or whatever it is. So we know where you're coming from, but I love the idea of the online thing, whether it's in a Zoom environment or that they can bring it up and look at it themselves, and the checkoff, so that when you do have that conversation, and it's not everybody, but when you do have to have that chat with the parent, you've already, well, didn't you watch the video? You clicked and said that you did. So, what are some things that that you're doing now in that production of it? And again, you and I talked about this. You're working with some tech people, so talk about how that's all coming together, if you can.
Yeah, I mean, so pretty much I started out kind of like in a document of all the things that I wanted, and then try to kind of break them down into sections of kind of where they would fit. I'm actually, sorry, trying to kind of bring it up right now because I didn't know if I'd be able to share it or not. But I don't know if it's, anyways, I'd probably take too long to bring it up. But I think some of them are basic expectations of just, how to behave, but also positive things like, hey, this is, an experience that your kid wants you to be at, right? Come to as many games as you can, cheer for everyone, cheer for the other team, like be welcoming to others, try to be a help in the stands. And if you see something happening that is not appropriate, that maybe you're the first one to kind of just, to plant the seed of, hey, something's not right, or go see an athletic director, find somebody if you foresee somebody being problematic in the game. So just a lot of different, not just advice. I feel like I don't want the parents just to feel like they're getting talked to, but a lot of good things of just, how wonderful high school sports are, how they're educationally based, making sure they understand that it's not all about winning. It's, there's a lot of philosophies that go behind it, and just understanding what the priorities are, at least at KCD, and for most, obviously, high schools being educationally based, of growing the kids and what they can get out of the sports. It's got little things like after, a game, what not to say, and what to say, like, hey, I just really enjoy coming to watch you play, as opposed to, why didn't you make that second foul shot? And just how detrimental sometimes those relationships can kind of dissolve just by little comments like that. And so, I know myself as a parent of 4 kiddos, and 2 are actively involved in sports. I have to bite my tongue a lot, but sure, I want to say something about the game, but they know when they've done something wrong, right? I mean, the last thing a parent needs to do is harp on that. They just want their parents to be there to support. My kids are just telling me to be quiet because I cheer too loud, and that's okay. But and they're like, "You cheer for everybody," and I'm like, "I know, but I think that's my nervousness, like, because I can't coach anymore. So when I'm on the sidelines, I think I'm nervous, and I've just that's my way of getting out my nerves." But it's a good reminder, I think, to us all, just of what we're really dealing with too, and what the focus of high school sports is all about, and the lessons that they can learn, and also whether those lessons can be things that you don't want your kids to take away, and you don't want to be that parent that gets kicked out of the game, or you just really thinking twice before you act, for sure.
Yeah, you covered so much great stuff there. And the part about the parent that they just are living vicariously through their son or daughter. I didn't invent this, but I saw it and I stole it and I added it to one of my parent presentations. You never hear a kid after the game saying, "Hey, did you hear my mom and dad yelling at the referees? Wasn't that great?"
Yeah.
It's never been said.
Yeah.
So again, parents, cheer for your kid, cheer for the other kids,
Yeah.
and try to enjoy the experience. Again, you and I know this term, make the ride home an enjoyable experience. Okay.
Yeah.
Amy, always great to spend time with you. If one of our listeners wanted to reach out, pick your brain a little bit more about how you do things at your school or about this new project you've got going, what's the best way they can get a hold of you?
Sure. Email is greatest, is the best, just because especially I'm happy to share that presentation with anyone that would like to use it. Once I do the meeting itself, I'm happy to share the link to that if they want to use that as well. Like I said, I think one of the best parts of this job is not ever reinventing the wheel and asking people for help. And I'm the first to share anything that I've ever come up with, and hopefully even get, their feedback on what they think of it. So it's amy.elliott@kcd.org.
Yeah, one of my favorite email addresses. It's so easy to remember.
Yes.
Okay. Amy Elliott, thanks so much for sharing with us again on Wednesday Wisdom, and all the best on this coming fall season. And we'll see you in Orlando for the NADC in December.
Awesome. Thank you.
For our listeners, we do this every single week, and we upload the Zoom recordings to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. As always, we appreciate you listening. Come back next Wednesday for more great Wednesday wisdom, and just about every day for new content on the Educational AD Podcast. We'll see you next time. Some great ideas there from a real pro, Amy Elliott at Kentucky Country Day. Before we go, we do want to give another shout out to our sponsors, just real quick. These are all companies I used as an athletic director or as a coach. You should be using them too. Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack, athleticsurveys.com. We use surveys for just about everything at our school, for parents, for kids, for teachers, and for athletic directors. It's a great way to take the pulse of your school. Go to athleticsurveys.com. Huddle. Huddle's not just video anymore. It's so much more, but the video is great. Go to huddle.com. Turn your school into a huddle school. VitalSignsWallOfFame.com. If you're looking for a really cool way to display your school record boards or your school's Hall of Fame, or just tell more compelling stories about your school's program, go to VitalSignsWallOfFame.com. Social media. If you're not taking advantage of it, you're really missing the boat. And Gipper is a great asset for you to promote your teams and celebrate all the student athletes and programs at your school. Go to Gipper.com. Their team is going to help you out in ways you can't even imagine. Gipper.com. We also want to thank Snap Mobile. Go to SnapRaise.com. Check out their entire suite of platforms, including SnapRaise, the fundraiser, but there's so much more. SnapRaise.com. Home Campus is the exclusive state association and athlete clearance platform for the podcast. As an AD in Florida, I used Home Campus every single day, and it was just fantastic. To find out more, just go to homecampus.com, homecampus.com. We also want to say thanks to Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com, schedule a live web demo, see their products in action. And finally, Hometown Ticketing. Go to hometownticketing.com. They're the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. I don't think I need to say anything more. As always, we appreciate your support. Come back next Wednesday for another Wednesday Wisdom, and just about every day on the Educational AD Podcast.